PJNet Live, take 2.5 with Del Didway standing by. We will switch to Studio 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to PJNet Live, the second half. We heard from Glory, who is in our chat room with us, along with a bunch of other people that we'll probably get to in just a few moments. Sorry for the false start on the second half of our program. I neglected to make a little minor change that resulted in a major difficulty, but nonetheless, in the interest of time, let's bring Del Didway out of the green room. For those of you who are not familiar with Del, you need to go to his website, which is on the screen, deldidway.com. Look on the screen. Spell it that way. Okay? And there you will find his weekly blog. Today, Del, every week is a new experience. I thought I had you figured out early on when we first started this. But every week you do something different. And today you uncorked one. Drew Brees, great quarterback. Did he stick his foot in his mouth by saying, take your Bible to school one day?
Oh, by the left's version, of course he did. You can't say anything that uplifts God or uplifts this country, according to the left socialist mob. No, you can't do anything like that because they'll come get you and they'll come after you and they'll demand you apologize and they'll shut you up and they'll protest. Nobody is off limits when it comes. And I hope, if anybody's out there in the chat room who's a radical liberal socialist, you need to listen to this stuff because nobody's off limits. They will eat their own. They will eat anybody alive if you dare say anything in favor of God, in favor of this country. They are just that rabid.
And yet, it's okay to defame God and country.
Well, it's one thing I pointed out towards the end of my blog is there is a movement I've noticed over the last several months, and it's encouraging. People are fed up with it. We've taken it for years, and there's starting to be pushback, and it's about time. And you're starting to see people rally around things. You're starting, I pointed out that the governor of Louisiana, who's a Democrat, and I don't use that term hardly anymore because there aren't any more Democrats anymore. They're all gone. They're all liberal, socialist, leftists. But there's a few Democrats left. And he actually said, the public schools are going to put "In God We Trust" back in the school system. And Drew Brees, who plays in Louisiana, encourage kids to live by faith and take their Bibles to school. And the radical left side, the LBGT, ABC, EFG, I don't know what, one of the things I said before my wife told me to take it out is, Vanna, can we buy a vowel for this name of this group? Because it's all like 19 consonants in there. So let's put a vowel in there somewhere. So, and they keep adding numbers and letters and whatever to their name. So they come out against him, and if you listen to what he said nothing about them, but they got this, not a chip on their shoulder. They have these stacks of books on their shoulder. They dare people to knock off because they want to shove their agenda down our throats. They say for us to be tolerant, there's not a tolerant bone in their body. The leftist socialist mob are radical, anti-American, anti-God, who've infiltrated our government, who've infiltrated our schools, who've infiltrated everything there is, and we're starting to push back, and it's about time we do that.
I think there is a pushback, and I'm trying to kind of get a bird's eye view. When Copernic first came out with his Nike thing, okay, two things happened. The first was their stock plummeted, all right, but later on their sales went up. Trying to process that in my head. Who owns the stock? Younger people or older people?
Yeah, I don't know who owns Nike stock. I'm not sure.
Well,
probably younger.
Generally speaking, it's publicly traded. It would probably be 35, 45 and older. Most kids don't have much to do with the stock market. But yet they are the consumers of the product. So they took a hit in the stock market but rebounded with sales. So I don't know where things stand. occasionally I will see a post that NFL seats are going empty, and I don't know whether to believe it or not. What's your take?
No, the two games I've been to so far have been preseason. I can't judge by that because there's not really many people go to those. I'll know this Sunday when I go to the Bengals' first home opener. I've noticed last year, 2 years ago was when all the kneeling took place. All the cowards kneeled. And last year, you didn't see it quite as much. This year, we've heard down in the clubhouse after the games, we're hearing, hey, we're going to stand. I think they took their beating, justifiably so. Not all NFL players do that, but I think you're not going to see that as much because people have had it. The pocketbook spoke when people didn't start showing up. You had Papa John's took a hit. They're the official pizza of the NFL. They took a hit because people weren't there to buy their pizza. So I think these little temper tantrums go on for a few weeks, a few months. They die out, and the cowards go home. And that's the same thing that's going to happen here. Drew Brees gets out, says, faith is what drives me. This is my favorite verse. I grew up with faith. Kids, live your faith. And that brought the fangs out of the radical, liberal, socialist mobs who now are after Drew Brees. And I'm so thankful he's not apologizing and not backing down. It's people coming to his defense. He doesn't need to be defended. He didn't do anything wrong. He encouraged people. Exactly. So I think these people who, your AOCs and all your radical hypocrites just spout off. And I think people are starting to see the real side that these are morons who are trying to hurt this nation. And you're seeing it, and they're cutting their own throat, so to speak, and it's about time. And I'm excited the last several months seeing people say, you know what, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I want to do. They're so sensitive. I have no place for sensitivity. I mean, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram that much, but if I offend you, grow up, turn it off, ignore it, go on. Stop fighting back. Stop spouting your mouth off. If I see plenty on Twitter I don't comment on it.
Amen.
Not all of it, some of it, but I just go on. They have the right to say that. That's fine. So do I.
Well, and I don't get engaged in those back and forths on social media because I think it's kind of futile. But if I did, I would be proclaiming some truth, some principle, some core concept. But when I see this kind of thing from the other side, it's just you're a racist. You're a hate monger.
You're a white nationalist because that's all they have left. They're out of words. They're out of thoughts. They have any originality. It's all okay. I don't agree with you. You must be a white nationalist. And it was so funny. And I don't remember the gentleman's name right off the top of my head. He's a syndicated talk show host on the radio, so you can't see him. I know who he is, but I can't think of his name. He's black. He's a black American. Mm-hmm. And this caller called in, didn't know who he was, and said, "You're a white privileged trash." And the guy's like, "You're just plain." The left is just, they're clueless. And the more they talk, the more they get on these podiums, the real side of them comes out, and people really see, hey, I voted for this goofball. Mm-hmm. No, I think I'll go for Trump next time. So I think the more they spout off, the more they blather. AOC has my hot chocolate is more intelligent than she is. But the scary thing is there's people out there who voted for her. That is scary. A bartender, which nothing against bartenders, a bartender gets elected to Congress who has the IQ of my fingernail clippers.
I used to be a bartender, but I don't consider that part of my credentials if I were to run for office.
Hey, no, she ran for office because she was funded by Soros. That's the only thing is.
Yeah,
so anyway, the blog was about, I had something else in mind. I was going to do something about 9/11, but that's horrible. I mean, everybody else is going to be doing one, mm-hmm. and this came to my attention, and I thought, this is so. Last week it was they're attacking the Pledge of Allegiance. Now it's Drew Brees can't even say, "Hey guys, live your faith.
Live your faith.
And it's like a full moon, man. They just turn into vampires and werewolves. And they cannot stand it, more, Coach, if you're happy or I'm happy. They hate happiness. They love misery. So I put a post out the other day, and I said, if you're a Democrat, tell me why you would vote for some of these people. Nothing. Crickets.
Mm-hmm.
Crickets. I ran into and I'm not getting on politics, but ran into a friend of mine down at Tim Hortons the other morning who's a lifelong Democrat. He says, I love your post. I agree with you. He said, I'm not going to tell a lot of people, but this party's no more. The party's my Democrat party's gone.
It's been hijacked.
It's hijacked. It's been assassinated. It's just been killed. It's just been buried. And you have these young, and I appreciate young people getting involved, but if you're young and stupid, don't get involved.
You mentioned I'm trying to think back to your blog. I did read it. Now, I know that you're trying to work up some time with Drew Brees. Have you ever spoken to him?
His agent, we just kind of fumbled a little bit. We couldn't connect several times. We tried to. And I don't know if after this happened, I don't know. He's not coming to Cincinnati this season, so we're going to wait and see on that. I have the number. I'm going to wait till this dies down a little bit. But we did speak last week. Yeah, we did speak last year, but it was very briefly. It wasn't an interview type of a. You and the agent, or you and Tim Brees? Me and Brees. We spoke briefly.
Brees. I said Tim.
Yeah,
you know who I'm thinking about. You have Dell, folks. For those of you who don't know Dell, when he gets some high-profile athlete in his crosshairs, he's going to get him. Okay, he's going to get him.
So I thought I'd just let this die down. I have Drew's
That's a good idea.
Number, and his agent told me he loves Focus on the Family. That's why he did this ad for Focus on the Family. Mm-hmm. And I've had some articles published by Focus on the Family, so that was my lead-in. And I'm going to sort of wait till this simmers down a little bit. It shouldn't be nothing to simmer down. He's not going to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for. And I know they're out there blathering for an apology, but I just, I'd like for them to go 5 yards out and take a pretty hard pass from Brees right in the chops. That would be awesome. See if they can catch it.
You have spoken with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
And he's cut out of the same mold. Oh, man, yeah.
Tim is... He tells you what he believes and tells you his opinion and doesn't back down from it. And he the media makes fun of him a lot, and the left makes fun of him a lot. But when he pulls into a stadium, there's not an empty seat in the stadium because people want to hear an encouraging word. They're there to see him, and he doesn't. He kneels, and the NFL goes berserk, and coward Nick, I call him, kneels, and he's applauded. So there's a different double standard there, and everywhere Tim Tebow goes, there's a demand for his time, and there's a demand because they love that message of hope. And that's what I said towards the bottom of my post. Hey, if you're happy, if you're encouraging, if you're positive, the left hates it. They hate it. They don't want you to be happy. They want you to be miserable, because if you're miserable, they're happy. So I'm going to make them crazy. I'm going to be happy every day of my life.
Now, you brought another figure into your blog, and his name escapes me right now.
Benjamin Watson. I've interviewed Benjamin a few times. I'm going to see him hopefully here in a few weeks. He's in my book, First Down Devotions. I interviewed him for Athletes in Action. I've interviewed him a couple times. And what was really cool about Benjamin, he has a fantastic testimony. He has been a keynote speaker for the National March for Life. Yeah, he's very outspoken about the family. He's very outspoken about his faith. He came to Drew's defense and said, basically what I said in the post, that their agenda has just the left's agenda is crumbling, and when they see anything that's positive about the family or God or the country, that they just they act like I do when I see bacon. They just go crazy over it. And they don't know what to do about it because they can't defend it. They can't come back with the family. They can't come back and fight against the family. So they're all about abortion. They're all about everybody's rights, but yours and mine. Mm-hmm. But Benjamin Watson came to his defense and just said, because
Well, how interesting. Seems like we've had something like this before. What I'll do is give Dell a moment to reconnect, and hopefully we can reestablish that connection. Seems like there we go. He's back. Okay.
So Benjamin was on. He's on Fox News quite a bit. He was actually retired this year, and we were trying to work in conjunction with a Higher Right to Life to bring him in to speak. And then, lo and behold, he goes back and plays with the Patriots. So that's kind of got the kibosh put on that for a while. So we're going to retry that effort next year because he is on the speaking circuit. He just had twins. His wife just had twins. I think they now have 7 children, I believe. His wife looks like she's like a size 0. I ran up the elevator with her in Minneapolis, and I thought, you've had 5 kids, and you look like you're a track star. I mean, so she was a hoot to talk to, and very sweet. And but Benjamin Watson carries a torch for a lot of the way men should be. So we really appreciate him, and hopefully we'll bump into him here towards the end of the season when the Patriots come into Cincinnati. Because what was cool about him was I interviewed him in Cincinnati 2 years ago. For the book First Down Devotions, and ran into him in the Super Bowl up in Minneapolis. He was being honored by Athletes in Action, who I also write for. And I walked up to him after the event, and I said, "Hey, you probably don't remember me." And he goes, "You interviewed me in Cincinnati." I said, "Yeah, I did." He said, "I remember that. I saw the post. I retweeted it. I loved it. Thank you." And so that kind of helps, And then I saw him again next year in Cincinnati.
You didn't know your name, though, but
he didn't know my name. I don't care. He didn't know my name. Saw him. We ran into him in Cincinnati again, and he was asking about it. So I'll be happy to give him a copy of the book when I see him here again in about 5 or 6 weeks.
That's great. We kind of run down the roster in the chat room, see if there's any names you recognize. Got a lot of new folks tonight. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, Data Genesis. That's me. Oh, okay. Canton Tweet is here. Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Gina, thank you. Diana Sharples, brand new visitor tonight,
That's
and
awesome.
she will actually be appearing Thursday night at 9:30 from the north.
Good.
From Doug Carter, who I met at the conference. Felicia Bowen Bridges is here for the first time, and guess what? She will be on Thursday night right there. That's where she'll be.
That's awesome.
Thursday night. And Glory Dangala, who was just on at the 9 o'clock hour, and Hazards 4, who host our Friday night show. Folks, come on Friday night. It's really good. Friday night, we will have, guess who? Julie Lavender at 9:30.
Oh, Julie's awesome.
Yes.
Write your guidepost. She's a good friend of mine. She's awesome.
Yeah. And Rachel Colby, an award who won several awards at the conference, she has appeared, right there. Okay? And I bet she'll be there again. All right.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sunbelt Girl, I always keep calling. I got to find some better label than Right Hand Man. Speaking of Julie Lavender, she just joined us in the chat room.
Oh, awesome.
And
Julie.
Becky Lindsay.
Oh, good.
From the great state of way out there.
Great state. I'm trying to coerce her to move to Ohio, and I think she's going to do that. So,
yeah, we need to salvage what we can out of that state before it goes down the tubes. And Rachel Colby is here. Gosh, I'm going to have to scroll down a little bit. Sunbelt Girl, who has been part of PJNet since the very, very beginning, folks. That was back in 2011. Okay, and Tammy from Georgia, our cheerleader, who is a Hoosier fan.
Yeah, she'll be interested. We're having Indiana Inspirations hopefully be out next year, 2020. So, a book about Indiana basketball.
They love their basketball up there.
They do.
Maybe they'll get a football team someday. And
No.
oh well. Okay. Well, here's what folks. We have so much going on. I don't even know if I got it all straight in my head yet. Del, I have to thank you because we connected through a mutual friend on Twitter, Jay Steins 3. Mm-hmm. And since we have intersected, you have expanded the platform here to include all those names, almost every last one of them. And I am so grateful for you being such a team player And because, folks, it's not about Dell, it's not about me or anybody here. It's about the kingdom. We are trying to put together literally a 24/7 Christian broadcast facility that's run by people like you and I. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be awesome.
We can do it. So now, Dell, do you have any news for us about yourself, maybe, or is it too early?
It's probably early.
A little early.
I had a colonoscopy 2 weeks ago. Let me think. No,
that wasn't what I was thinking about.
So we have another book launch next week. We're launching Bengal Believer, devotional about the Cincinnati Bengals. First down, if this is backwards, first down devotions is doing really well. That's okay.
I forgot to fix it.
No, it's okay.
But I ran the right bumper.
Yeah. First down's doing really well. And then I'll be calling another game Friday night, going to Chicago tomorrow morning.
I'm so jealous. I am so jealous.
It's a lot of fun. A kid that we covered 2 games ago just signed with the Buckeyes. So Ohio State's going to get a good linebacker from our little local area again. So we're excited about that.
Gosh, Dale. The world's most interesting man. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dale, let me do this. I have a few announcements for the family, the live audience. The announcements that follow will not be part of the edited version that is on YouTube. So, Dale, thanks for sharing your time. Sorry we had some technical problems along the way, but I don't have a producer. Well, actually, I do. Me.
Yeah.
So,
hey, and we're also getting ready for the Big Ohio Conference here in about 2 months.
I have already marked the calendar. I know I get back Veterans Day. I've taken 2 days for travel up and back.
Yeah.
For a 3-day conference, so I'll spend more time on the road than anything else.
It's a Friday, Saturday this time. We got back.
Okay, maybe I need to change my schedule. Okay, well, Dell, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, and we will see you next week about this time.
Well, maybe you can talk about getting the PJ Net chopper out and flying up to Ohio.
Yeah, if it'll carry all my gear, we'll do it. All
right. See you next week.
Dale says, see you next week. Thank you so much, Dale. What I'm going to do, PJ Net Live will be right back. I'm going to run the bumper a few minutes so our live audience will hear what follows. The final edited version on YouTube, it just won't be there. So hang with me just for a few minutes and we'll be right back.